Walk down almost any street in the United Kingdom, and you will pass an enduring piece of everyday infrastructure, the classic red pillar box. If you look closely at these mailboxes, you'll see a royal seal stamped directly into the heavy iron. For boxes installed over the last 70 years, that seal usually features a crown above the characters EIIR, standing for Elizabeth II Regina. But if you travel north across the border into Scotland and examine a box built after 1952, you'll notice a peculiar discrepancy. The EIIR lettering is completely missing. Instead of the Queen's cypher, modern Scottish boxes feature a generic crown, often decorated with the traditional Scottish thistle. This missing Roman numeral was a hard-won victory. It followed a fierce constitutional dispute in the early 1950s that sparked a failed lawsuit and an active bombing campaign. To understand why the Scots went to war over a piece of street furniture, we have to trace a 400-year-old historical glitch triggered by a single offending number. The concept of the pillar box arrived in the UK in 1852, championed by Sir Rowland Hill, to make the Royal Mail system faster and more reliable. The British state quickly realized these iron columns were prime real estate for branding. By stamping the reigning monarch's initials onto the front of every box, they converted mail collection points into visible markers of state authority. Exactly 100 years later, in 1952, a new monarch ascended the throne. She was crowned Elizabeth II, and the government immediately began shipping new pillar boxes bearing the EIIR insignia to towns across the entire United Kingdom. But this rollout hit a major geographical snag. Between 1558 and 1603, England was ruled by Queen Elizabeth I. During that exact same period, however, Scotland was an entirely independent kingdom. The Scots answered to their own sovereign instead, Mary, Queen of Scots. The two nations didn't share a single monarch until 1603, when King James VI of Scotland inherited the English throne, making him James I of England. Even with a shared ruler, England and Scotland remained separate kingdoms with their own parliaments. They didn't officially merge into Great Britain until the Act of Union in 1707. From a Scottish perspective, the math simply didn't add up. Because Scotland had never been ruled by an Elizabeth I, many argued that title Elizabeth II was a historical error that erased their own sovereign timeline. By the early 1950s, Scotland possessed a highly distinct cultural identity and a populace protective of their history. They were quick to reject any attempt to conflate their past with that of the English. When the new mailboxes arrived bearing the Roman numeral II, it felt as though London was overwriting Scottish history with an English narrative. The resistance started in the courts. Scottish National Party politician John McCormick mounted a formal legal challenge against the Crown to block the use of the numeral, though the case was ultimately unsuccessful. Following the legal defeat, public frustration moved to the streets. Across Scotland, citizens began defacing the new pillar boxes with black tar and smashing the royal insignias with hammers. The conflict peaked in the Inch district of Edinburgh. Less than a year after its installation, a postbox bearing the disputed cypher was completely detonated with explosives. The government's insistence on a specific typographic choice had backfired. On Scottish streets, the iron cylinders were no longer seen as civil infrastructure, but as targets for nationalist rebellion. The bombings escalated the issue until it reached the desk of Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Churchill opted for a practical compromise. Recognizing the depth of the grievance, the government ordered that Scottish pillar boxes be redesigned with a neutral crown, removing the numeral that had triggered the violence. This wasn't the only time the Royal Mail's branding met resistance. Because these red boxes are visible markers of British authority, they have often become focal points for anti-imperial pushback. Upon gaining independence in 1922, the Irish Free State immediately signaled its new sovereignty by painting its inherited red pillar boxes a bright Celtic green. Later in the century, during the Troubles, the Provisional IRA frequently targeted these boxes in Northern Ireland as delivery mechanisms for letter bomb campaigns. The Pillar Box War serves as a reminder that the symbols a state places on a street corner carry weight. When those symbols conflict with a nation's sense of its own history, the response can be as loud and explosive as a detonated mailbox.